Ah, there's the man.
What's up, everybody?
What's up?
It's another NFC EAST show. We got 3 of the 4 here. We got one out sick, but just like his team, he's not feeling really well. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today?
Good. D. Slayton is still with the Giants, so today is a good day. Today is a good day.
And there's a D. Slay that's still with the Eagles too, even though there was a rumor that he was going to go somewhere else.
So he did sign?
He did not go there. Yes, he did sign.
Oh,
yeah, that was, and I knew that was happening.
Yeah,
it was like people were telling me, oh, he just dropped, say goodbye to Slay, and I'm like, this isn't official yet. And if they're going to drop him on the 6th or the 1st of June, why would they bother drop him now?
Yeah,
this is a ploy. This is a ploy to see if he's got, any worth, and see what they would, if they're going to trade him or whatever. There would be no need to drop him now and designate it for June 1st. It wouldn't happen. Just wouldn't happen. Well, and I did hear from you guys down below over there, Mr. True Blue, that you signed the duct tape wonder. Van Der Esch is back.
Yep.
The duct tape.
That he is.
Well, let me ask you this though, True Blue. First off, apparently somebody else will have to feed Zeke. And
that's for sure.
Is will he be re-signed? I mean, do you think they'll bring him back, or they're legitimately parting ways with each other?
As it stands right now, I mean, it's a legitimate parting ways. I mean, there's still a very small chance it could be re-signed at a lower cost. That's why no restructuring took place. But I mean, it's part of the business. We all know that. But I just don't see it. I just don't see him coming back.
And that being said, now granted, when you guys had your playoff game, nobody knew that this. I mean, well, actually, I think we all speculated that Zeke was not going to be back with the Cowboys the following year. But just think about his last play. His last play as a Cowboy was as a center and got smeared. The last play.
Yep.
As a Dallas Cowboy. I mean, that to me, that's just hilarious. Obviously, being that I'm a Giants fan and you know how my feelings towards the Dallas Cowboys. But it's just hilarious how that was his official last play.
And it's going to stick out in a lot of people's minds for, I mean, basically the rest of his career, even leading past that. I mean, that's the last play as a Dallas Cowboy. Yeah, I remember seeing it happen right there in front of me. And I was like, this isn't a way to go out, because I knew right then and there that was going to be his last time that he was going to be wearing that star on his helmet.
You thought so?
Oh, yeah.
Huh. That's interesting, because I I mean, of course, I'm looking out for his best interest. He could definitely go sign for two under two different, hey, running back or center. So, uh, but I mean, I laugh at that. That kind of cracks me up.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I mean, had they moved on in the playoffs, I think the tell might have been different. I think had some stuff been done inside that game, as far as TDs and everything else is concerned, I think that also might have changed things. But the outcome that we had just said, you know what, we're going to have to part ways due to the money.
Yeah. Although, hey, listen. Now, in hindsight, being 2020, when I ask you the question about whether you would have traded him for a second-round pick last year, would you?
No, I still wouldn't have, because I mean, we got. I mean, his stats lived up to what we thought he was going to get. I mean, he is a great running back for the Dallas Cowboys, and his numbers show it.
Well, I mean, he was playing injury prone. I don't say injury prone, but he was playing injured the last 2 seasons. But in hindsight, he did win the rushing title twice. Of course, I work with Dallas Cowboys fans on a daily basis. And when the call came about Zeke, everybody was asking me, am I happy that Zeke is no longer a Cowboy? I'm like, I'm not happy and I'm not unhappy. I mean, it's are you happy or unhappy? And a lot of them, I'll just give a number, like maybe 7 out of 10 Cowboy fans that came to the office and we talked about Zeke. They mentioned as soon as he got his money, his play did decline. As soon as he got that,
it went from 1,400, 1,700 combined all the way down. And I mean, he wasn't getting especially when Pollard came on the scene.
No.
And that money did, the night, the standoff that they had before he got that big paycheck, it was another consideration that, I might have to pay you now, but later I'm not going to have to do it. So, okay, you got me on this round. Next round is my turn. And you see what happened. So am I happy he's gone? No. Am I, it's one of those things. I'm going to tell you this right now, truthfully. I was more hurt when Herschel Walker left.
Oh, right. Well, because he was your best player of your team.
Yeah. When he left, I was freaking out. I was just, but then, because back then, when you hear the news, breaking news, he's gone. It hits you hard, and it's like, what? Whoa. And it's just not as, intricate as it is now with hearing what you got in compensation. All we heard at that time was that he's gone. Something like this is like, okay, we expect it. In today's day and age, you hear about it a week. The Cowboys are talking about it. The locker room's talking about it. Do we bring him back? Then the draft and everything else. And it's one of those scenarios where it's a lot easier to take.
Well, I mean, you didn't have the same, thought process when it came to what's his face, Dancing with the Stars,
Emmett.
Emmett.
Well, Emmett, yeah, of course. I mean, but again, that was a business decision, and I knew he was. It wasn't. He did what he did with the Dallas Cowboys, and he still wanted to play, and I don't blame the man. So right then and there, I was just looking at it. This is a business decision for him. He still wants to play. He still wants to make some money, and eventually he came back and retired with the Cowboys. So,
well, he did sign a 1-day contract. His goal, his goal was to rush for 20,000 yards.
Oh yeah,
that was his goal. And imagine if he would have hit, because he's at 19 right now. I don't.
He's at 17.
He's at 17. Okay, my bad. I thought he was at 19 something. But then again, if he was at 19,000, he probably would have tried to stick around.
And that's rushing. That's rushing. That's not. That's not catching.
That's no. That's straight rushing. Yeah. Do you think anybody would beat that record?
Well, you have to think about now that you have 17 games. They now that the one game's added. I mean, it's changing every day. I think the hardest record to break right now is going undefeated. There is no way any team can go undefeated in today's age.
Well, let's put this in perspective, right? So there's 17 games. A player would have to average he would have to average 100 yards.
I think it's $1.09
for well, I'm just saying, because it's 17 games to get at least 1,700, and he would have to do that for what, 10 years straight?
Yeah,
like 10, like a minimum of 10 years. I think that rushing record is I think the passing records, and this is my opinion, I believe the passing records in the NFL, like the passing and also the receiving records, would be more in trouble than the actual rushing records, because a lot of teams now, they're doing that run by committee. Even if you have that number, even since we have Barkley, we do have I can't think of his name right now. Great, starts with a B. Brain fart. But even he comes in once in a while to replace Barkley. So it's that rushing record is going to be tough.
It is, and that's a great thing about the NFL. You have all these records, and records are made to be broken. And with the passing, especially today's game, how you see, you're seeing 4,500, 5,000 yards a season for these quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are insane numbers. And you just think about the longevity of these.
Yep.
You think about the longevity of these quarterbacks now and how long they've been playing. Brady, for example. I mean, it's hard to say who's going to break that record now, because that's a long time in the NFL.
Yeah, Brady has over 600 touchdown passes. I mean, that's unheard of.
Exactly.
I think the next plateau that will get hit is somebody throwing for 6,000 yards.
Oh yeah,
most
definitely.
Somebody will do that.
I mean, because you have quarterbacks now hitting 5,000 yards like it's nothing.
Well, but it is something. Even right now at 6,000 yards, would be an average of 353 yards a game. You know what I mean? 5,000
and that's
yards
realistic.
5,000 yards is just under 300 yards a game.
Yeah.
So, and that's for 17 games. So I think that's going to be the next thing that actually goes. However, there is a turn back to running in the NFL right now. Right now, the NFL is turning back a little bit more to running the football, because
as they should.
Because the defenses are smaller now and faster because the passing has been so prevalent.
Yep.
That's why when you have a big offensive line, it's because the other thing that I keep talking about a little bit, and I keep hearing about, is that they're not taking away that quarterback sneak.
No.
It's
in the committee.
So that's actually
it's remaining.
Okay.
Sticking around. And I knew it would, because it brings up way too many other issues for other plays. So, like I said, you cannot, like I said, if you have a scrum that doesn't have to deal with right there, like right at the center, and you're on the outside line, you got to call that play dead right then and there. You're not going to be able to do that. And so it causes too many problems for an offense that are trying to get that extra little bit of yardage.
Yeah. I think if they're going to allow that, if they're going to allow that, I think the only consideration I would have is, currently there's a rule you cannot pull once the scrum is started, or whatever we want to call it. You cannot pull on the player. I think it should be the same way on the backside. You're not able to push.
Right.
Yeah. If you're in front, you cannot pull your own teammate forward to get the first down. So I think it should apply as well. If the quarterback's moving forward and a running back tries to come from behind and push him at the line of scrimmage like that,
that's where the problem comes in, because then take it away from the quarterback. Now you bring it into a running back or a receiver that's just trying to get that extra yard or so, and you have the pile up there. That's when you have those issues. And that's what they wouldn't be able to stop that play there. Or you're canceling all those plays. You know what I mean? Then, you're blowing the whistle there. Well, now you're stifling the offense, and the NFL is big on not doing that.
Just a
They
quick
went
recap.
offense. They went offense.
Just a recap.
It's just going to be interesting. I can't wait to hear what they decide upon that, because it's going to be interesting hearing from the owners. Not so much, but I want to hear from the owners on what they have to say.
There are 15 quarterbacks that have thrown over 5,000 yards. And the closest quarterback, the top 3 quarterbacks that have thrown over 5,300 yards is Manning, Breeze, and Brady. Mahomes done it once as well. Brady has done that twice. Breeze, actually, I take that. Yeah, Breeze like 3 or 4 times. But Peyton Manning has the record for the season, which is 54-77. So 5,400.
Right. It was almost 5,500.
Yeah, 77 yards for and it was 2013 when they had that high-powered offense. Of course, didn't kind of muster it up to it when they played in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks. But he had some top receivers. So I mean, it's a combination, obviously, with offensive line, and the receivers, and of course the a high Q level of a quarterback.
And what year was that?
2013.
13.
Yeah. So also think about this. His passes weren't going that far.
Oh no, they weren't. You're right. Yeah.
He was not throwing 30, 40 yards down the field.
He was not throwing bombs. He was not throwing. I mean, that's
he
when
was
he
just dinking and dunking right there. Yeah, 10 yards here, 5 yards there.
If I'm not mistaken, he had Wes Welker as a wide receiver.
Yep.
I want to say.
So you're looking at 45. Yeah, you're looking at 45 plus passes per game. And then I mean, you should know how hard it is to throw that ball 45 times when you're playing that.
Right.
The arm's going to get pretty tired.
Oh yeah. Well, and by that time, I don't even think he even had filling in his hand. I think that's when he put the glove on.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. So not only did he get all those yards, he just got them off short plays.
So real quick, I want to just kind of wrap everything up with Daniel Jones's contract. I know we're probably going to be talking about the off-season moves.
Well, yeah, because the show is actually called Gains and Losses.
There we go. Now, this is a huge gain for the Giants because I know. Let me hear it. But no, the reason why I say
no, I want to hear you say first.
Well, no, I know. I'm just being sarcastic. This contract that Jones signed was more team friendly than it was Jones friendly. Now, granted, Jones got his guaranteed money, which was, I think it was like 80 plus million. Okay. But when you break this contract down, it's basically a 2-year deal. If he is not successful this year and next year, the year that we will opt out and move on from Jones, that's going to be a huge draft class of quarterbacks that's going to be coming out that year. But for example, regarding Jones, I'm sorry.
You hope.
Well, I mean,
because as of right now, I only know that there's one quarterback coming out, and his name is Manning.
Right.
So other than that, that's the only quarterback.
So from what I know, there are some quarterbacks that are coming out of high school. I mean, of course, I don't know their names off the top, but because I was going down,
they got that one guy who can throw left.
Right. I think I don't know if he's eligible, but I know exactly what you're talking about. But the deal with this deal that they did with Jones, it is so back heavy that technically, if you were to play the full 4 years, it's only like 37.5. It's not the full 40 million that everybody's making it out to be. Now, of course, with the signing of Jones, they're going to tag Barkley. They're going to try and work out a deal. Barkley's still looking at the $14-15 million mark type money a year, which I don't see it happening. Okay. In my opinion, of course, call me biased or greedy, I would rather Barkley sign the 1-year tag, get that 10 million, give us another show me year, and to where next year, he will definitely earn his money next year, but we'll see. Now, I do know they're going to restructure Leonard Williams' contract. Like I just stated, Darius Slayton is back. Shepard is back. They signed to another year. Now, a lot of these vets, like say Shepard and Slayton, just because they signed does not necessarily mean they're going to make the team. They still have to go through the training camps, the OTAs, and of course, like I said, the training camps, and then make that 53-man roster. And I really hope Slayton and Shepard do make that roster. We did sign a wide receiver. I don't know if he's going to be a wide receiver number one, but we got Jeff Smith from the Jets. We also picked up Paris Campbell, which I think is a good signing, but people are saying he may be the number one. I don't know. I'm not too. I don't know. I mean, I know a little bit about Paris Campbell, but I just need like a D-Hop or a Higgins type receiver for Jones just to stretch the field. Now, I believe Slayton can do it. I mean, he did it last year, even against the Cowboys. He did it. Now, defensively, hold on, I got it right here. Defensively, I think we're going to be.
I think.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think with a veteran receiver that you're looking at, trying to go to the Giants. From my personal take, I don't think you would have a veteran out there who would say, "Oh, Daniel Jones, I want to go get the ball from him," because of his running ability. A lot of receivers know that he's a running type of quarterback. He's not throwing the ball. What did he have? 22 passing touchdowns?
Well, he had 15 last year. He had 15, 5 picks, but he had 7 rushing touchdowns. I mean, I hear what you're saying, exactly. But the reason why he had those type of numbers, I think, is because he didn't have a number one wide receiver. I mean, we made the playoffs because he didn't even have a number one. I just imagine the potential with the second year in this system with a number one wide receiver. I don't even think Jones has hit his ceiling yet, in my opinion. I mean, of course, we all could be wrong, but if we give him the weapons, I mean, we did pick up the gentleman Waller from the Raiders, and with a trade that we got through the KT trade. I think, which was a great move, but we still need that receiver to stretch the field. We still need that one receiver that'll do it. And I'm hoping we get it from the draft, first round. But if we can get a veteran guy that we could plug in quick and make things happen, why not do it now?
Yeah, that's that's how the Cowboys got lucky with Brandon Cooks.
Right.
I mean, he just signed over, and he just came over seeing that, we've got now another veteran back there, and it's going to be one of those types of players who's going to take a little bit of lead inside the locker room and say, hey, you know what, guys, we've got to, this is what we've got to do in order to win. I mean, you saw some leadership with CeeDee Lamb, and, he was stretching it a little, but I don't think somebody, I think somebody like Brandon Cooks can come in and step it up for all these guys, make everybody work a little bit harder.
On my end, Gage is saying that doesn't matter. Jones will still only throw for 10 to 15 touchdowns. I highly disagree. Jones wants to throw the ball deep. He wants. I mean, granted, he'll run, for like 6 or 7, but if he has that number one where he could just throw that ball, oh man. I mean, you can rub your eyes all you want to, but I have complete trust and faith in DJ.
I'm glad that you do. Yeah, I firmly think, again, we're very early into this new 2023 season.
Facts.
And I think right now that you guys are going to take a very small step backwards. I think that you guys are going to wind up like, 8-9 or 9-8. If you guys make the playoffs, it would be barely. And if you guys make the playoffs, it'll be over the Cowboys, because I do not believe that I think the Cowboys take a step backwards. And I also firmly believe that the Cowboys have a coup on their coach this year.
So what makes you say that the Giants are going to see? I would say Philly might take a step back because we still have our coaching staff in place. The only missing piece, I don't even want to say it's a missing piece, is the fact that, we want to make sure that we have Barkley back on the field. So, but what
So
would make
I
you think?
believe I firmly believe that he learned a lot in the playoffs,
Oh,
and
of
that he's
course.
going to start to incorporate some of that. And I think in the process of incorporating that it's going to be a learning process. It's a learning curve. I think that you guys won a lot of games very early that you probably shouldn't have won, and I think that that is going to be very difficult to replicate. You guys won a lot of games in the last second of the game. And I think that that's going to be very difficult to replicate. And I think that it's going to be a tougher season all the way around. We are not, I don't think that we're going to get 14 wins this year. You know what I mean? I don't think we're going to go 14-3. I think that we're going to be closer to 12 wins. You know what I mean? It could be 11, could be 12 wins. I think that, that the Cowboys themselves, I really believe that there is going to be a frustration level that is going to boil over. And it could be from Dak or caused by Dak. And it's going to wind up costing the coach his job.
No, I don't see that on this side. I think, see, what everyone fails to see is that for 2 years, Coach McCarthy has been playing with the guys that he was given. And what I mean by that is, he had to take everybody who he had and run with it. This year, he finally said, you know what? I gave it your try. It's my try. Kellen Moore's out. You see now he's brought in some other coaching for a QB coach. I think if anything, we're going to level up even better on the offensive side, defensive side as well. We're gonna be there
and that's,
with the signing that we got.
And it could go one of the other ways, one of two ways. It's going to either work really well, or you're going to find out exactly what kind of coach he is, and I don't think he's a good one.
No, I do think he's a good one, and I just think it was the offensive call playing that got us in a lot of trouble in these games. And I mean, you witnessed firsthand what happened when he actually called the plays. A lot of people still don't know that, and you saw after that halftime when they marched right down the field,
right? But then you also saw he didn't give it back to him, and you guys still lost the game.
No, he gave it right back to him and said, "That's how you do it," and that's exactly what happened. See, when you get those phone calls from upstairs, you better answer them. And I mean, I've literally seen some coaches try to ignore that phone, and when they have, it's a fun sight to see, I should say. But again, I think the coaching staff that he's put in place, I think with the players that we're getting in free agency right now, and I think with the draft is going to have a big effect. The first, second rounds.
So I'm okay.
We will see.
Now, obviously, the schedule has not came out yet. Okay. But I'm looking at the home games, of course, Dallas, Washington, Eagles, of course, and that's same with the way. So that's the 6 games. But we got Green Bay, we got the Jets, Patriots, the Rams, and the Seahawks at home. And then, of course, we have the Saints, Raiders, Cardinals, 49ers, Dolphins, and Buffalo.
Go through it again.
Okay.
So I'm going to go where you guys go at home in the division 2-1.
Okay. So
I don't say that you sweep. I don't know. I won't say that.
Okay.
I won't say who you're going to
that's
do.
fair.
I don't know that.
So
it's
okay.
2-1.
So now the home game. Okay, we got Green Bay, who will not have Rodgers.
Okay, that's probably going to be a win. I'll give you a win.
The Jets, who will have Rodgers.
And that'll be a 50-50 there. That's a tough one.
That's a MetLife game.
And then
it's a MetLife game, so I don't really count that as a home game. But I know you guys.
No. You count that as a home game because it's Giant Stadium. The Jets pay us so they could play there.
Actually, it's not Giant Stadium. It's MetLife Stadium.
It's MetLife Stadium, but the Jets still pay us to play there. Our banners, our banners are hanging there. Okay, they just borrow.
Not when the Jets are playing. They take those banners down and they wait their butts.
They don't take it. They cover them up because they're ashamed that we have more than they do. I could do this all day, Philly. You know that. The Patriots, the Rams.
Okay, that's another win.
Okay, the Rams.
I can't say that's a win right away.
Then you got the Seahawks.
I think that could be a loss.
And then I think that's going to be a revenge game for us, and especially for Jones, because in that game, that was the only game If I'm not mistaken, he threw that was one of the games that he only threw 2 picks in. Now the away game,
Even if I give you the benefit of the doubt and I get you guys go 6-2 at home.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay,
There's only 8 at home. Yeah. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and go 6-2 at home.
Okay, you know I'm going to agree to disagree, but I digress.
But you would only gain 2 wins in that.
But so
you could say you're going 7-1 or 8-0, but I don't think you're going to do that.
So the away game, I do believe this year we are going to beat the Dallas Cowboys at home. You heard it here first. Although, yes, I say it every year, but I think this is the year that it actually happens. And then we got the Eagles at home, which I know, Philly, you're going to say you're going to beat us. Oh, I was waiting for you to say no. I actually think you're going to beat us. I was waiting for you to say that. I don't know why.
No, I mean I'm not going to talk of that right now. I'm saying that you guys are going to go. I'm saying that you guys could go 2-1, and if you beat the Cowboys, I know you'll beat Washington because that Daniel Jones beats Washington every time. That's then that means you lose to the Eagles.
So now we have the Saints, the Raiders, Cardinals.
Saints is a loss. Saints is a loss. The Raiders is a win.
And then we have Cardinals, 49ers, Miami, and Buffalo.
Win, loss.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I know that you don't think so.
Yeah,
but I'm. So if you go 6-2,
right.
6-2 on home, I mean there was a lot of loss at the back end of that one. So
not on the home games because you said we got.
No, I said 6-2 at home.
Okay, right, 6-2 at home, right?
I'm saying on the road. On the road, I think you're going.
So on the road,
3-6. 3-6. That's 9-8, and you might sneak into the playoffs with that. I don't know that that's going to be the case, but you might.
So I'm hearing you saying I'm hearing you saying we're going to have 10 wins next year. I like the way you think.
No, I said 9.
Well,
and that Raiders team is a question mark. I think the Raiders suck, and they're going to continue to suck. So I figure you guys will beat them. But that being said, you have to go out there to do it. And when you're playing in a dome, it's like it's Vegas, so everybody's going to go out there for that. But Vegas, for some reason or another, when it comes to NFC teams, beats them.
Yeah,
something about us going out there and we better hope your team doesn't go out and party too much on Saturday night.
I see us possibly I think we'll beat the Saints and the Raiders. And
you're not beating the Saints. You aren't beating the Saints in New Orleans. You're not doing it.
I think you're
not doing it.
I think we will.
Okay. You can think that all you want, but you're not doing it.
I think and when it happens, I'm not.
Listen. I want to bring back the tape here. I'd love to bring back the tape here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because
I believe.
Write it down.
I believe that we'll beat the Saints. Because I don't think it takes a while for a quarterback to gel with the team. Okay, I think we'll be a better team.
It's not the quarterback that I even consider here. It's just that's a really difficult place to play. You can't hear. They actually have a passionate fan base.
Are you forgetting what happened last time we were there? And that was with Coach Judge. That wasn't even with who we have now. We beat him in overtime. We beat him in overtime.
Okay. Ooh,
was it overtime? Did we play in overtime? I think it wasn't. Yeah. When Barkley
got lucky.
Touchdown.
So you got lucky.
No,
don't
go there, Philly. Don't go there. Come on now.
And still the box of tissues, and you still lost the NFC East.
Yep. Don't go there. Okay. Don't talk about luck. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not even going to look at wins and losses right now until the team's established. I mean, that's just how it has to be.
Yeah, I mean, overall, this is all just talk. Yeah, this is all just talk.
I mean, and that's why I say, I'm always very conservative. I think that just if looking at the schedule before the schedule even comes out, because I think that we're going to have to go to Germany, and Germany is going to be a weirdo situation. You know what I mean?
I didn't go this year, did you?
Huh?
No, y'all stayed.
No, we didn't go.
Okay, because I know, of course.
No, but so there's Kansas City and Patriots are both playing over in Germany, and I can't see the NFL having a rematch of the Super Bowl in Germany. Won't happen. However, I do see them having a rematch of Super Bowl 52 in Germany, without a doubt in my mind. So I think that Philadelphia, and the only way that won't happen is if Kraft says, "No, I'm not playing the Eagles over there because those guys travel, and we want that money."
So let me ask you this though: if you guys go to Germany, are you going?
Of course.
That I'm going to tell you, that was my biggest regret last year by not going to Britain. The fans had so much access to the giant play. I mean, of course, I'm just going off of what I saw on people's TikToks and whatever. And we talked as a family, we talked about going, but that would have completely wiped out our game day budget, and we would have went to no other games this year.
So Tyler thinks that they're going to take a step back, but Tyler's just happy that he was able to make the playoffs this year. So we're going to let Tyler. Jacksonville.
Duval.
Oh, okay. Hey, we got to give Jacksonville some flowers. That was a huge comeback. That was a huge comeback since the Kardashians, huh? Philly stands. Oh, they are not. No. And they got Dak crying. That is cold. That is cold. Oh my. True. You gonna say anything to that? Anything?
Nope. Don't care.
You're not gonna say go to hell in the nicest way possible.
Don't care.
That was cold. I'm excited.
I don't think it matters with the coaches. I mean, I guess we'll see what the defense looks like. Everybody thinks we lost a lot of players. Truth of the matter is, we didn't lose a lot of players. You know what I mean? Hargrave got paid a lot of money, and we're going to wind up getting a third-round pick for it. So it worked out really well. Our offensive line guy that we lost, Sayamalu, you know what I mean? Okay, Sayamalu, went with Pittsburgh. I've been saying for years he was the weakest link on our offensive line, and our offensive line was pretty good. He's going to wind up being the best player on that offensive line over there in Pittsburgh because their offensive line stinks.
What about your OC? And didn't y'all lose the DC as well?
Yeah, and the OC.
So the defensive coordinator, I couldn't get him out of here fast enough. He was kind of like your Kellen. You got to get him going. I tell you, the guy doesn't know how to spell blitz. And I think that's a problem sometimes. I think you have to be able to evolve a little bit, and he wasn't able to. He wasn't able to evolve. He had a good system, and you saw how well that system could be coached against when it came down to it in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal. So, and I, okay, the system works for most of the time when you're not playing Andy Reid in the Super Bowl. Okay, I can get with that because you need the players to be able to do it. Still, you still need the players to be able to do it. So,
yeah, it's the coaching makes all the difference, especially at the coordinator position. If the guys aren't flying with it, the players are just like they're going to stand down, and you can see it in the play. And that was one of the biggest things that I had to see on the sidelines is. The Cowboys regressing because the coaching was just so bad. When you have four guys run the same route to the same yardage.
Well, not only that, is when you guys had the defensive coordinator prior to Nolan, I mean, guys had no idea what they were doing defensively. And it showed. It showed on the field. But I will say this. I will say this, Philly, and I will stand corrected, although I still hate what's his name that your coach filling himself anyway.
Peterson.
Not Peterson.
Tyler Derby. That's Tyler's.
Not Peterson. The coach,
Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, Sirianni. When he came in and he had that press conference and had made no sense whatsoever, in my mind, I'm thinking if he can't even communicate with the media, how's he supposed to communicate on the field? And then, of course, you guys have a team. You guys make the playoffs. You guys win the NFC. So I got to say, maybe he does know how to coach a little bit, or his coaching style was just let the guys be the guys and let them play. Maybe that, I don't know. But overall, coaching is huge because, like True said, players have to buy on what the coach is selling, or they're just there to collect a check, basically.
Yep.
Right. I agree.
And that's
and
that's one of the hardest things. That's one of the hardest things I see as the coaching, because you have to realize the coaching is starting to get younger and younger and younger. I mean, in the respect, like the Miami Dolphins, their head coach, how young he is. When the Rams got Sean McVay, how young he was, and they bought into the system, and he was doing exactly what the Phillies coach is doing, mixing and dancing it up with them and the whole 9 yards. So that's another thing too that these players are starting to realize. Do we want an older coach, or do we want a younger coach that we can get along with? And those are the two.
I think that this is part of the shift of we're going to go younger, and then it's going to turn back around. The pendulum always swings. So the pendulum swinging younger in that regards, and that's where you're going to start seeing these older coordinators start to be able to really outcoach these guys, and then those coordinators are going to wind up getting bigger.
I don't know,
jobs
that Miami head coach. I call him the mad scientist, because he put together. I mean, if you watch his story and see how he kind of grew into this position, I'm going to say it, he's like a young Belichick. There was a situation, I can't remember what wide receiver it was, where he was that coach told the player, the wide receiver, like, pretend you're dribbling a ball, and when you want to cut off, or if you want to break a route with the corner, just pretend you're doing like a crossover. So he adapted a scheme from basketball and put it on the field. And when you look at it, when you saw how that was put together, it was genius. So I really believe some of these young coaches, they got it, but some of them, I mean, maybe not, but I don't even think age is a topic here. I just think it's the knowledge of the game and how quickly they can make adjustments, and how quickly that coach can evolve with that game and with that team. I think that's what it all comes down to at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, and it really does, and that's why I'm still like Eric Bieniemy going to Washington. He's a great coordinator. What is setting him apart from not becoming a head coach? And I mean, that's one of the things he's at.
You mean other than what happened in Colorado?
What do you mean?
Other than what? Oh, that
yeah.
No, that can't be anything. I think he's stepped away from that.
Actually, you know what? Now I will only go by Jim Jeffcoat saying that it is such a big deal. It is such a big deal. He'll never be a head coach. And that's Jim Jeffcoat saying that.
Yeah.
And real quick, as I'm saying this real quickly, I want to give my sincerest condolences to the Jeffcoat family. They lost the patriarch of their family, Jim's father, passed away the other day. So I want to give a heartfelt condolences to him. We do a show with him. Obviously, he's been on our show a couple of times, and I do a show with him every Sunday. And his father had just passed away the other day, and I wanted to just give like I said, a heartfelt from everybody here. I'm sure everybody feels the same way for that.
Jim is the only nice thing I'll say about the Dallas Cowboys. He's an awesome guy.
So, but ultimately, he says that there's that the story was able to be squashed because he won't ever get a head coaching job.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's
there's
definitely a lot more to the story than we even know about.
Apparently there is, because I didn't know anything about that then.
Yeah, so that's the reason why. So and like I said, I can only go by that, and that's why I wanted.
Wait, you mean what? Bieniemy will never get a coaching job? Is that what you're saying?
Never.
That's what he's saying.
What I'm saying.
I can actually see him.
If he was to get a coaching job, his past is going to come back, and they would tear him apart.
Wait.
He would not.
What am I missing?
I can't say what happened because I don't know what happened.
Okay.
But there was something that happened in Colorado when he was doing college.
Yeah. It was previous interactions that took place.
Right.
Well, I'm going to
So,
Google
I
it in a
can't.
few minutes.
I just in going back,
Can you
following
do your
back to
grooming at
coordinators.
another time and not on the show there, Sneaky?
My ear itching for some reason. I don't know why. I've been like,
He's got like Q-tips. He's doing his beard. Come
yeah.
on,
Well,
man.
I always
Be
do my
ready for the
beard.
show.
I always do my beard. You can even
So-
people say on my show, I do my beard.
Going back to the coordinators, that's where I'm finding a lot of interest on how the coordinators are moving around, both on the Cowboys and the defensive minds that are coming in. Because now we've actually got a player who crossed over from offensive to defensive, and it's part of our international relationships. Our guy from Mexico, who actually is moving from the offensive line to the defensive line, and a lot of people are starting to say, well, it doesn't make sense for somebody to shift positions. So maybe the coordinators, Dan Quinn, saw something that nobody else was seeing on the offensive side and said, you know what, we can use this guy right here in these types of schemes. So going back to the coordinators, it's such a big help for the head coaches that these coordinators take on so much responsibility. And I'm just, I see your offensive coordinator going to Arizona, and that's what it is now. That most guys that get to the Super Bowl are all of a sudden picked.
Our defensive coordinator, by the way, it was our defensive
Our
coordinator. Our
defensive
offensive coordinator went to Indianapolis.
There you go, Indianapolis. But yeah, you see, I mean, as soon as you hit the Super Bowl, it's all free for all, which I get. But those coordinators play a big role in what these teams do. So,
how do you feel about the Gilmore signing?
I'm going to take it.
Well, I mean, of course you're going to take it. But what are your thoughts?
He's going to be back there. I mean, with the respect that Micah Parsons and Diggs has, I'm just going to say, okay, these are who these guys are going after. I mean, that's all I mean, until he plays for us, I got to see it before I believe it.
Right.
Yeah, and trust me, Diggs was not the answer. Diggs, I tell you, I'm not exactly sure what happened, but he had that run where it was like 7 games in a row he had an interception.
Right.
And what's he had since then? Like 2? Like it's like
nobody's throwing to his side.
Well,
that's not true. That is absolutely not true.
That's no. There's
I'm not saying they're not throwing. I'm saying they're not throwing as much.
That's not true either, because he got torched a few times. Yeah, well, so I'm not saying.
I think what happens now, offenses are actually scheming against him because his rookie year, he got 7 interceptions, but I mean, he gave up thousands of yards. Matter of fact, Tony, of course, before we traded him, I mean, he almost racked up 200 yards on him himself, and it's the scheme that's hurting him. Because if you see the double move that granted, Tony's not on our squad and he got a Super Bowl ring with the Chiefs, but when he played against him, I mean, it was a double move and that was it. Diggs was lost.
That's where the veteran comes in and tries to help out. I mean, that's all you can ask for.
Right.
That's all you can ask for. Somebody to step in and say, hey, maybe you want to look at it from this angle. And that, I mean, it's okay. Everybody has to be on their island once in a while, but I can still see him out there by himself. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Hold on a second. Someone's saying correction. That wasn't that what on my side. Someone's saying that wasn't Diggs' rookie year, Sneaky. When he played against Tony, that was his rookie year. I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. Go ahead, guys. Because I was at the game. I was there. I wanted to leave with Mike Glenn. Oh, I shouldn't have said his name. But
I heard he's coming back.
Nick.
Yeah, as the water boy. My mama said. My mama said.
That's a job.
So, and I tell you, the one thing I have to say about, there was a lot of chatter yesterday about C.J. Garner-Johnson and him going to the Lions. And first off, I want to say I wish him well with the Lions. I think that the Lions were going to win. I've been saying that since the beginning of last season, that I didn't think that they were going to win the North. I thought they might have made it to the playoffs, but they are going to win the North this coming season. I don't see anybody getting in their way. And he's going to do really well because they ain't got no defensive backfield at all. So he's going to really shine over there. And him playing for his contract, I hope he gets the 17 million that he thinks he's going to get or that his agent thinks he's going to get. But he ain't getting it. He ain't going to get it because they don't pay safeties right now. You're not a cornerback, you're a safety. And that's the problem right now. But that all being said, I thought that, okay, as long as the longer it lasts, the more likely he'll be back. But from what I understand, the Eagles wanted to, got out of the bidding early. And then, of course, the agent said, well, he was only going to get so much guaranteed money, or not even, he didn't even mention the guaranteed money. He just mentioned how much money he was going to get and that it was going to be like 17 million in the third year. Well, whatever, what have you. My thought is that this guy wasn't Brian Dawkins. You know what I mean? When he got hurt, Blankenship came in and he had 6 interceptions in 12 games, CJ Garner-Johnson, which is nice. I appreciate that. But when Blankenship came in, he had 2 interceptions in 3 games. So it wasn't like it was a big deal in terms of that. We didn't lose a lot while he was hurt. So
yeah,
or it was like 3 interceptions in 5 games. So there was a lot. There wasn't much lost when CJ Garner-Johnson was out. He's a good player. Would have been great, but truth of the matter is that he wasn't not 42nd in coverage. I mean, whoever put that out there was just straight out wrong. He was the 5th rated safety or the 4th rated safety. And I know, Ken, that you're an Eagles fan. So I understand why you're putting that out there. He was the 4th rated safety. He was the 4th best safety in the league last year. So, and I get it. You know what I mean? He did well here. And I hope he gets his money at some other point, but it just ain't going to be with the Eagles. And I'm all right with that. I didn't think it was going to be a big deal if he left. And everybody got all, was all very astir yesterday in Philadelphia.
So what's the deal? Help me out here. What's the deal with AJ Brown? I thought you guys already signed him to like a big deal.
No, what happened with AJ Brown is that we picked up his 2027 option. And by doing that, we saved like $15 million in cap space. We did it with him. And then we also did it with who else was it that we wound up getting the
right? But I mean, so you have him for
option,
but you have him for like 3 or 4 years, right? Or like
5 more years, 4 more years.
AJ Brown 5 more years.
But by picking up the option, we wound up it. That and what's his face? Deshaun Reddick.
Okay.
So by picking up both of their options, it defers all that money. It guarantees their money, but it defers all that money to the end. So we save $15 million, I think almost per person this year by picking up their option now.
So, because the only reason why I bring that up, they're talking about Hurts getting a contract next year and how the AJ Brown contract may interfere with that. And of course, I'm at work. I'm only hearing what I'm hearing. And if you
I don't think
on that.
so. I mean, they're going to have to get some type of creative anyways, because they are still reeling a little bit from the dead cap space, and they are they're going to have some carryover cap. And that with that carryover cap this year, I think that's what's going to wind up happening. That carryover cap is going to be able to become a signing bonus for Jalen Hurts, and they're going to be able to pay him a tremendous amount of money next year. So yeah, that's I'd say we're still reeling in this cap space hell. It's got 53 million in dead cap.
Okay.
So
I
don't think it's that bad, but I think it's still bad, and it's still because of the Wentz, and even though Wentz got traded, there was still some dead cap space, still some money that we had to fluctuate around to be able to do that. And once that all comes off, they're going to actually be able to carry over some money and that's how they're going to do it. Howie's the one thing that I could say about Howie is when it comes to being the general manager, he knows how to manipulate the numbers for everybody.
Yeah, I think I say the same thing about Shane. You have to, because it's like you take all these small puzzle pieces, and the only way you're going to make it fit is to somehow, you're going to have your big puzzle pieces with the big contract, and you have the little itty bitty ones with the the minimum or just with signing bonuses. And I think I got to give Shane a bunch of props, because last year we were in cap hell and we only had 6 picks. This year, of course, we traded for Darren Waller, got rid of one of our picks, but we still have 10 picks right now. Plus, we still have some cap space to make any kind of moves we need to make. So I totally agree with you.
Are you excited about Waller?
I really like his story. I really appreciate, and I was a fan of him while he was with the Raiders, because his whole story was unique. I always love, the rebound type story, and the fact now that he got married, I think it sucks that he got married to a player that plays on the Vegas, WNBA team, and then the next weekend he gets traded to New York. So I think
next day.
Oh yeah, the next day. I'm sorry, the next day he gets traded to New York. I think McDaniels did him dirty, but then again, he did everybody basically dirty on the Raiders. I mean, look how he did.
Carr. He also wasn't invited to the wedding, so that could have been
right. So he's gonna be all butthurt and trade. I want to tell you right now, and I'm gonna say this, and I don't care if Raiders fans hear me say this. If I was a fan of the Raiders right now, I actually had a friend of mine said that he's gonna root for the Bears rather than the Raiders until McDaniels leaves. He has done.
Actually, they should probably do that until Davis sells the team. He ain't going to sell the team, and he ain't his father. The Raiders suck right now. They are a horrible franchise, and they're going to continue to be a horrible franchise. He's too busy with his nose up, probably up at the Bunny Ranch, Bunny Ranch girls' asses. You know what I mean? Doing his thing up there. You know what I mean? So it's like I think that he's got no clue, and because he's a Davis, he thinks it makes it so much easier. Hey, listen, you ain't your old man. You suck ass. You suck ass, and now your team sucks ass, and you're gonna be the bottom dweller of the AFC West for a long time. Eat it, Raiders fans. Unfortunately, I feel bad for them. I feel bad for them.
Exactly.
I do. If I had one thing to say, I'm sorry, Drew. If I had one thing to say to Davis, to the owner of the Raiders, get a new barber, please. It's painful when I see you. It is painful.
The thing, it's right. It is the Raiders fans who are suffering, and I have several friends who are Raiders fans, and moving that team to Vegas was one of the biggest mistakes. You took the fandom away from their team. So, I mean, you get what you deserve. I know it was a money move. I know it was a thing to get out of California, but you should have went somewhere where the fans could have kept supporting you. Because I know a lot of the guys are still going to wear their colors, but, it's hard to root for somebody who's not justifying, those prices.
That was
They could have probably moved across the bridge and went and where the 49ers played. You know what I mean? It was literally the stadiums you could see each other. Yep. So they could have went there because the 49ers are playing out in friggin' wherever they are.
Santa Clara. I think it's Is it Santa Clara they're playing?
San Jose.
Santa Clara.
I think it's Santa Clara, actually.
Oh.
But yeah. But it's all crap, I mean, they could have stayed there, but nope. He's a Davis. He wants what he wants, and you know what? You're gonna. That's what I say. It's unfortunate for Raiders fans.
Yeah,
it is.
It's unfortunate for Raiders fans. That's what the problem is with that. So, unfortunately, I feel bad for them, but not for the team. That team sucks and is going to continue to suck.
Yeah, that was the biggest FU to the fan base that any owner could have done. Biggest FU, like moving the whole team. I feel bad. And the gentleman that I'm thinking of right now, I told him I won't say his name. I told him what he said to me. This guy was the biggest Raiders fan I've ever known. He wore silver and black, like times that I've seen him, every single time, about as much as I wear Giants, and he was like, "I'm done with the team." I'm like, dude, that's like me saying I'm done with the Giants. I mean, it was my mind was blown. He's gonna go for the Bears now. Yep. I'm like, you know what? You got to do what you got to do, bro. Like, I really don't blame him at this time.
Well, another hour is come and gone.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, exactly. We've gone a full hour, and it sounds so funny that we ended in the AFC West. But I had to, when we're talking about the Raiders, I am just that's such a crap franchise right now. But anyways, we will see you guys all next week. Thank you guys for hanging with us. I really do appreciate it. And as always,
let's go Giants.
How about them Cowboys?
Ow!
And the NFC champions.
Oh,
go Birds.
The Commander.
Yeah.
That's the pork rind. That's the pork rind.
Have a good one, guys.
The Commander.